Let's take it to you, Jitendra, first, because give us a quick snapshot. We got a significant beat in earnings per share, revenue pretty much in line, but still growing at quite a clip, and it is still largely about cloud.
AWS, Prime, and FBA. They're executing well on all cylinders. That's what they're basically showing. So the whole investment cycle that Amazon embarks on, they're saying that, hey, we can deliver the top line growth, so be okay if we increase that spending to bolster our growth story here. From a profit perspective, again, AWS biggest contributor. The North America margins are steady, but the international sort of losses continue because they're expanding very aggressively there, and they have a lot of opportunities to expand Prime internationally, FBA internationally. So I think this growth runway continues, but more importantly, they're showing that they can execute against these numbers.
I want to dive into my Bloomberg again because it's quite phenomenal just to show, even though we're at these lofty, heady heights of near records for Amazon, we have got not one single sell on this stock across all analyst recommendations. Largely they are buys, a few holds overall, but still the stock trades higher. And after hours, let's get James McKeevy's point of view, because was it AWS a standout for you as well as Prime? What about some of the margins that we're seeing coming from Amazon?
Certainly, we're happy to see AWS perform so well. There was some softening in the last quarter, and so it was good to see the numbers come back up. But really, for this company in the long run, we need to see that it can fire on all these cylinders, and it is firing on those cylinders. But the U.S. business in particular, the margins are small, will continue to be small, but we're really confident that it will continue to grow, even at small margin, year after year after year. There is still so much headroom in the U.S. retail business for Amazon to claim that between a high-growth product like AWS and a really solid domestic retail business that's growing and growing, I think that's what's going to fuel together the international expansion that they're working on.
Interesting, both of you have talked about international expansion here. Jitendra, I think it's really interesting that the earnings press release led with India. This is such a clear sign of intent coming from Amazon. Absolutely,
and if you just look at their investments and even their strategies, which are regionally different, their pricing strategies are also different. I mean, it's basically telling you that, they are expanding by localizing their strategy, which is really working for them.
I mean, Mexico, also a new area that they're launching Prime. What about the content side of the business, James? What about, with Amazon Prime comes, of course, the Amazon Fire Stick and Fire TV. They are spending big as ever. This is a company that reaps in that revenue, but doesn't always deliver in profitability.
Right. Well, a real way to think about the video focus, any other content focus of Amazon, is how do we increase the engagements, number of engagements per day and minutes of engagement per day. You can even think of Amazon Echo and Alexa as an extension of that. If we get you to touch Amazon in some way 8-10 times a day, and that can include video, that can include asking Alexa what's the weather, all of that eventually accrues to, I'm going to shift a larger percentage of my retail spend to Amazon. So even though that's not generating top-line dollars for them, it is cementing what is undoubtedly the industry's most powerful customer relationship.
Jitendra, where next in terms of can Amazon possibly go? I mean, we're seeing record highs across the board for many of these stocks. I'm looking at Amazon with $439 billion market cap. It's about to grow if it holds on to those after-hour trading numbers. Are you expecting just continued positivity coming from Amazon?
As he mentioned now that, these touch points that Amazon keep adding with video, with the AI assistants, with different products and services, just brings people back to Prime. Once people are back to Prime, they spend more. And so this cycle has a long runway, because if you look at the end markets, there are a lot of verticals that they are just starting to enter. And there are international markets where there's a lot of room for headroom for the retail segment. And of course, the cloud business, which continues to sort of beat expectations in terms of how big is this market, and that number keeps on going up. So I think they have end markets big enough to sort of like support that growth longer term. It's just the balancing act of how much should we invest and continuing to show these positive ROI numbers through revenue growth.
James, I'm going to ask this to our guests when we discuss Alphabet, but how worried should Alphabet be by the growing advertising side of the business that Amazon is starting to show off? And are these really key competitors? We see them fighting it out in cloud as well.
Absolutely. These are probably two of the most unlikely competitors that people for years tried to separate mentally, but they are in the same business. It's the business of attention. And if you think specifically about advertising, Amazon is in a position to give you much more contextual ad placement than Google is. Even though you're working against search results, that's not nearly as powerful as product search results. So Amazon, and then when you add what Amazon can do when it starts observing you in your life with cameras that it, as of this week, has added to some of its Alexa Echo line, it's going to be in a position to know so much about you and make product recommendations that surpass the value of advertising, coming at a time when major brands like P&G are pulling back billions of ad dollars, which they're not sure are spent well. If I'm Google, I'm Alphabet, I'm very nervous.